Another film I watched recently was Werner Herzog's 2016 film Salt and Fire, the story of three scientists investigating the environmental impact of a slowly spreading Bolivian salt flat who are kidnapped when they arrive in the country by a man who turns out to be the CEO of the company responsible for the crisis. While two of them are squirreled away and given poisoned food to get them ill and keep them basically out of the out of the plans and basically out of the rest of the movie, the lead of the the lead of the team is drawn by the CEO into philosophical discussions and ideas about man's place in the world, and eventually is sent on a mission without her realizing it to live on an island in the middle of the salt flat for a week, accompanied only by two young boys, both of them blind. It's a typically Werner Herzog production. It's showing you something that you've never seen before and couldn't have imagined in a part of the world that you wouldn't normally think about. In this case, rural Bolivia and the salt flats there. There's a gigantic salt flat that can be seen on satellite photos of the entire continent. The idea that humanity is really just a passing gust of air across the surface of the earth, that the man-made disaster of the salt flat could spread across the world and dehydrate us, or that the supervolcano underneath it could erupt and shroud the earth in darkness for centuries, also wiping out a large part of Earth's vegetation and thus the human race. It's interesting, and it shows Herzog's interest in fatalism, but the motivation behind the CEO's plan, that he wants the scientist to understand the human cost of the disaster, that he is facing his own responsibilities. I find it quite strange but interesting and engaging that it's about ultimately a businessman who has made terrible decisions and now is going to the most extraordinary lengths to address them and to take responsibility. It has that strange dream-like atmosphere that so many of Herzog's films have, showing off the beauty and the starkness of this environment. The performances are unfortunately a little variable. Veronica Ferres in the lead role is, I think, struggling with acting in English, as she's a native German speaker, while Michael Shannon is delivering his dialogue in a little too stiff, a little too mannered a role. I think it would benefit from a slightly more relaxed and naturalistic delivery. It would certainly, I think, sell the inner turmoil of the character a great deal more. But it's an interesting and engaging and unusual story. It's certainly refreshing that Herzog is still making weird movies and films about subjects and about locations that you don't see in normal mainstream cinema. It's certainly worth watching, I think, because of that. Although it's, I think, far from top tier Herzog, it's certainly a fascinating and absolutely original entry into his canon.